Welcome to Millenia, entities of all the coils, be ye man, woman, child, be ye spirit, creature, demon, be ye native, migrator, or invader. Welcome to the realm of Millenia. I am your host, the Millenian Mailman, here today. And as always, I'll be world building for you long after you've already acclimated and begun to fit in. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this Millennium Mailman Monday for you. I'm gonna keep it mild. This week's hot take is going to be that Spider-Man might be the most relatable of all the well-known American comic superheroes, but Batman by far is the most liked well-known superhero in American comics, at least. Right? Of all the American ones, it's Spider-Man who is most relatable, and Batman who is the most liked by far. Right? And that's coming from the sheer fact of the matter, in that, well, for the audience that may not know a lot about Spider-Man and Batman, let me keep it mild for you, and let's introduce these characters. Spider-Man is someone, say an average human being here, who has his genetics altered through scientific experimentation, where one of the experimental spiders they were testing on had escaped and then bit a random person in the crowd. Peter Parker. Peter Parker gets bit by the radioactive, genetically modified, tested spider, and now he has multiple superpowers like spider sense, able to shoot webs out of his body and swing from them over the New York sky, and he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He loses his family pretty early on, and before he becomes even teenager. And then he loses his grandpa, who delivers the most iconic phrase that with power comes responsibility, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And that's where that phrase comes from. Spider-Man. He's the most relatable, well-known superhero in American comics. And that's what makes him relatable, because he's always trying to do the right thing, right? And he's doing everything he can. He's constantly facing trials, tribulations, and getting run into and pushed back by obstacles. But as always, the superheroes always win, because evil never wins. And Spider-Man has been granted the access and the authority and the ability to have all these great superpowers that he can do so much with. So, and he takes it with him as his mantle to carry, to be this character, this superhero of doing the right thing and doing what he should and he knows best to do, without ever giving in to any corruption of any sort or making any leniences in the matter. He's always going to make the right choice, no matter who benefits. If evil benefits from making the right choice, evil benefits, and when evil does wrong, he'll punish the evil. But he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's not going to be mean, he's not going to be rude, and he's always going to make that proper choice. No matter what trials, tribulations, tests, and obstacles come in the way, he's going to come in smiling. Underneath his mask, of course, he'll always be smiling, cracking jokes, and being your friendly neighborhood guy that will always be there when he can, right? That's Spider-Man, and that's what makes him the most well-known, relatable character, because a lot of people go about their day-to-day, and they, no matter how good they are, they run into some stuff in their life that makes it hard. It makes it a hard choice. I have the choice to do wrong and use my powers, my knowledge, my ability for self-gain, or I have the choice to do what is right and get the altruistic satisfactions, and then develop myself to be better so I can get better, rather than making bad choices for that immediate gratification of doing the wrong things for whatever reason I say so. right? And that's what makes Spider-Man relatable. That's a well-known character. But Batman, DC Comics of American comics. Screw Marvel. We're talking DC. Batman is the most liked character, most liked, well-known character in my book. Batman's gotta be the most likable, well-known character. And his backstory as Batman, he lost his family early on. He got that usual trope. The mom, dad died, and then he's got pretty much no family except a role model figure. That role model is his butler, who never left him, despite the Mr. and Mrs. Wayne becoming late Mrs. and Mr. Wayne, right? His butler, Alfred Pennyworth, butler to Bruce Wayne, who is Batman, right? The common phrase that pushes Batman to be a better character and a better person and makes him do the decisions is that when he was little, he fell down a well and landed in a cave, a cavern of some sort, where there were a ton of bats, which scared the piss out of him, right? So the biggest thing for Batman and made him was the fact that he was scared of bats as a child. And when his father came and saved him, the father asked, why do we fall? We fall to get back up, right? Every time we fall, it's to get, the purpose of falling was to get back up and do better so we don't fall again, right? But the main aspect is the first half of we fall so we can get back up and be better. Be better, right? That is Batman's inner monologue trope constantly running through his mind. Spider-Man's constant monologue is with great power comes the responsibility to do right and do better. Batman's trope is that the reason we have low points is so that we can get up and not have to not fall as low as we did last time effectively, right? That is Batman's moniker. Batman recognized the whole like phrasing that pushes Batman to be better is, hey, everyone's bound to fall. We're bound to have low points, but despite whatever that low point is, when you fall down to that low point, the whole point of falling down was so that you aren't scared to get the hell up and go further than you did last time. You survived the fall. Now get up there. You already have experience going up however far you went that much, so don't be scared to reach that point and go further. That is Batman's inner monologue for progression, and that's more of a likable goal for, I'd say, more people, or forgetting words right here, for a wider scope of people than with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah, that's true for any and everyone, yeah, but it's not gonna dig deep onto as many people as the whole idea that pushes and drives someone that, hey, I recognize there are low points. Anyone with ambitions, anyone with desire to not be stagnant or for self-growth or self-care is going to hear there are low points in everyone's life, and it's up to you to decide whether you're going to allow that low point to be the new thing that defines you, or if you're going to surpass and accomplish and surpass yourself and your past and whatever you had and be better, right? And that's more of a likable goal than just the whole aspect of self-limiting that Spider-Man effectively does, where why do we fall? To get back up again. Anytime you get knocked down. So in Batman's like catch phrase, his youth moral, that's it. So Batman's moral compass, that phrase being Batman's moral compass alone is more likable than Spider-Man's moral compass is relatable. Spider-Man's moral compass is relatable, Batman's is likable. So that's one for one, right? And then proceeding with Batman. So Batman, his youth, just like Spider-Man, the parents are gone, and so on and so forth. Batman lost his parents in front of his eyes. He's a rich kid, second generation rich man, right? He went to the opera, and unlike any other time, they didn't have all the butlers, the servants, the bodyguards that they would normally have. And because they didn't, they decided not to bring all those people this time. Of course, Murphy's Law kicked in, and everything bad that could happen did, and unfortunately, Mr. and Mrs. Wayne, Batman, Bruce Wayne's father and mother have deceased, if you will. So with the loss of his parents, that is what pushed him into being a more darker character and go down the route of vengeance, per se, right? He did a whole lot of soul searching and finding himself. He did training with monks, the Tibetan monks, and then he came back to Gotham to make it a better place. But not through the regular way, no, through the vigilante way. Because with his moral compass, it's just to be better. And one of the things he came to understand and connect with was that if people won't be better by themselves, it's up to the environment to strike the fear of that into people, the fear of not being better, strike the fear of anything just to push people to be better, to better themselves. So what better way in the mind of childish growing up Bruce Wayne than becoming the thing he fears most, embracing that fear to be better and better himself and better those around him through invoking fear in the environment. Batman spreads the concept of it's in your best interest to do better by spreading the fear that he fears. So he, as a child, feared bats, and as an adult, he's going to share that fear with the world, where if they choose not to be better, they'll just constantly be hounded and effectively assaulted by the Batman, right? And they can choose to be better and they'll never have to encounter Batman again, or they can choose to be the same as they are. Get knocked down, knocked down, knocked down, knocked down, knocked down. Why are you falling? Why are you falling? You're falling to get back up and be better, man. You're no better than you were last time. I'm gonna keep beating you down, right? So Batman's a more likable character because, in my devil's advocate opinion here, he is a more realistic character, right? Batman is more realistic rather than the excessively self-sacrificing altruism of Spider-Man that, let's be honest, is relatable, is very relatable. It is not something most people do, right? Spider-Man's relatable in the fact that his morals, his ethics are understood and accepted by the majority of people, right? But what makes Batman even more relatable is that he's more the intrusive thought behind the darker side of what people's mind come up with and recognize they should not be following through with. Where Batman is a very pessimistic, pragmatic person who gives up 99% of his optimism, and he's very not extremely trusting in those around him and anything happening. he's really given himself to the concept of, if I don't do this, who will, right? And in that, part of that makes him more of a likable character than Spider-Man is the fact that he is going to go out there. He's where Spider-Man, in order to allow everyone to live without hurting them, because his superpowers give him superhuman strength and to punch through walls, and if that same fist that can easily punch through a wall punches someone in the chest, they will stop breathing permanently, right? And that is really morbid. So every single enemy that Spider-Man fights, he's really pulling his punches in order to keep people from not breathing. To keep people from not breathing and ensuring that they can live to face whatever justice there is. He's pulling every single punch, versus Batman, who's giving his all into every enemy in every battle, every night after night. Spider-Man, day after day, is pulling every punch, versus Batman, who's just the pinnacle of regular human effort and diligence. He is the embodiment of what it's like to give your all against every enemy in order to seek the justice that a normal person is pursuing. The devil's advocate perspective says that Batman is more likable because he is a person who is putting his all into every battle. And one of the common trends is the fact that it's a trending, well-known aspect that how Batman has one of his moral ethics is that he doesn't kill his enemies. He refuses to kill. He's very much against it. He doesn't kill anyone. But at the same time, if you've ever played a Batman game, Arkham Asylum or anything, from all the attack moves and everything, it's like, how is it possible? How is it possible that he's got this moniker of I will never kill or use guns, and somehow here we are breaking people's spines, punching them with enough force to crack concrete like a spider web, pushing people's head into a wall, or not even just a wall, a cement brick wall, so with enough force to shatter that wall. How is it possible? It's possible because Batman, Bruce Wayne, is a normal person who's gone through strength, control training, and effort, and he, in every battle and everyone he goes against, is giving his all. And as a normal human being going against superpowered individuals, individuals with better constitutions, better defense, all drugged up on steroids and the venom, and just multifaceted of things. He is giving his all, and he is a competent person to recognize that it's not a good thing to pull punches. And just a little funny that I always think of when trying to justify it to other people is like, Batman, he doesn't ever kill anyone, and he knows, because anytime before he leaves the scene, he'll check everyone's pulse, be like, no, he's still breathing, his blood's still flowing, I didn't kill him. But he'll be dead if we leave. No. He'll be dead if the medical and the hospital people in the area don't get to him fast enough. I didn't kill him. The declining Medicare, Medicaid, medical programs here in the city of Gotham killed him. Everything but me killed him. Okay, that's a big difference. I don't kill anyone. I don't kill anyone. right? But that's his big trope, that he might sort of inflict heavily injury and bodily damage upon people, but he will never kill anyone. So, and that's just the beginnings as to why I would say Batman is a more likable character than Spider-Man is, despite Spider-Man being a more relatable character than Batman or any other American comic character. But they're from the category of well-known characters, Batman is more likable than Spider-Man is relatable to a wider majority. But hey, that's just me. Your Millennium Mailman here today. That was the Devil's Advocate take on it, and I hope you enjoy. If you like, press that like button if you agree. If you don't, leave it alone. Questions, comments, concerns, all that, put it down into the comments section down below. And if you happen to want to get more discussion going, go ahead, press the share button and share it with anyone and whoever you so just choose to decide. And if you happen to want to help me push as motivation to finish the book I'm working on, Millenia and my Millenian series, go ahead, press the subscribe. And if for some reason you never want to miss any one of the videos I'm doing, because I will be posting a new video every day until I publish my book, press the bell button. Of course, I would never recommend it, but hey, that is just me, your Millennium Mailman. Have a good